मंडी की बातें।
Welcome to the 10th episode of Mandi Ki Baatein. Hi, welcome to the 10th episode of Mandi Ki Baatein. With me is Kshitij, the head of raising debt, equity and strategic initiatives.
Yeah. And this is Krishna. Krishna has been with the company since its inception and today he is the director of design. So Krishna, अब हम सबसे छोटे हैं पूरी leadership में, but we've had the fortune.
I would want to look at us as the youngest ones, not the chote ones.
Yeah, the youngest ones, my bad.
Yeah.
And we've had the pleasure, we've had the experience of seeing ReshaMandi scale, right? मतलब हम I think 10 लोग थे एक छोटे से रूम में और आज हम एक बड़े से आलिशान ऑफिस में बैठते हैं.
550 लोगों का
550 लोग हो गया, राइट?
2 साल के अंदर.
तो यार मतलब 2 साल में हमने आई थिंक काफ़ी ग्राउंड कवर कर लिया है, राइट? आई थिंक इफ़ आई रिमेंबर करेक्टली यू स्टार्ट विद प्रोडक्ट डिज़ाइन, राइट? तूने प्रोडक्ट डिज़ाइन कर लिया है, तूने धंधा बना लिया है, तू आज मार्केटिंग देखता है, तू टच पॉइंट्स देखता है, बीच बीच में वायरल कैंपेन भी कर देता है, राइट? बट टेल मी समथिंग, वी डील विद सो मेनी स्टेक होल्डर्स, राइट? हाउ डू यू मैनेज कि किसके लिए क्या एक्सपीरियंस बनाना चाहिए और कैसे बनाना चाहिए? डजंट इट वेरी अ लॉट?
Yeah, so all of these people come from different parts of the country, different economic backgrounds. They have a very different upbringing that they might have had. So we have a very very wide spectrum of people that we cater to. अपने पास में फार्मर भी है जो शायद स्प्लेंडर चलाता है, अपने पास में एक मैसिव डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर भी है जो बेंटले में आता है. So all of these people are people that we deal with, and every person has to be given a specific kind of experience that they will be able to resonate with, so that they have some kind of a value that is created with ReshaMandi. Because when we are able to provide value, that is only when we'll be able to have these people work with us for a longer time. Experience.
And how would you say that would differ from maybe a product design or marketing?
Experience is essentially the state of mind that you put that person in that particular time span that you have that person's attention.
Yeah.
अगर मेरे पास एक बंदे का attention एक advertisement में है तो मैं शायद पहले 5 सेकंड उसको एक हुक दूँ और उसके बाद में फिर उसके दिमाग में वो चीज़ इनपुट करूँ जो मैं इनपुट करना चाहता हूँ. In a similar note, the moment I have the attention of the person when I am making a product for them and there is a specific activity that I want them to do, the way the entirety of the process will be made will be in such a manner that the person feels as if they are the one who's taking the decision and they are the one who's doing the right thing, but it is essentially they are doing what we are wanting them to do so that they can benefit out of it. And that essentially happens to be how we input experience in both marketing as well as product design.
By the way, this is the guy, if you've seen the Mona Lisa campaign that got viral for ReshaMandi, this is the brains behind him. Krishna, भाई ये मोनालिसा ऑन ए साड़ी ये कहाँ से कैसे?
जो Powerpuff Girls के स्टार्टिंग में आता है ना कि sugar and spice and everything nice. So you identify all of those traits that will make a campaign or make a creative that stand out from the rest of the world. क्या है आपका social media scroll करते रहते हो endlessly. And you are only going to stop when you are going to look at something that is so absurd that ये कैसे हो सकता है? And that because we are in the industry of textile and sarees happen to be one of the biggest revenue contributors, we wanted to introduce the brand of Resha Weaves and create a social media presence. For that we identified that there needs to be a campaign which speaks to people. So there was nothing as absurd as Mona Lisa wearing a saree and being on a tour in India. So that is where the idea clicked and that is where all of those spices came in together to build that campaign.
I mean, एक जो advantage I think ReshaMandi की है, that is that they give everybody an opportunity to do what they want, right? So Krishna has built I think a couple of businesses here on the sustainable side, right? Things जो किसी को लगता नहीं था कि इसका business बना सकते हैं, Krishna has made a successful business out of it. So Krishna, you want to touch a little bit on that?
ReshaMandi mein there is one thing which is very very significant is that if you want to try out something, the founders are never going to stop you. The founders are in fact going to provide you or wanting to provide you with more opportunities for you to be able to capitalize. For me, I am a person who comes from a product design background, but I had this चुल कि मेरे को धंधा करना है. मैं सब फाउंडर्स को जाके बोलता था मेरे को धंधा करना है. बोला ठीक है, किस चीज़ का धंधा करेगा? उस टाइम पे ReshaMandi इतना बड़ा नहीं था. ReshaMandi was also growing. तो फार्म्स में there was this concept that whenever the cocoons were boiled for you to be able to draw the yarn out of it, the pupa inside died. And the pupa was considered to be a waste. It was just absolute garbage which people would have used for making fertilizers. The one idea that stuck out, which was that pupa happens to have 74% crude protein content. We used pupa and created this as a raw material to the entirety of the protein industry. We started very small. We were making less than 25,000 rupees a month, which eventually scaled to about $1 million per month. So which was a very, very good opportunity for us. अगेन फ्रॉम द सेम, तो प्यूपा निकल गया, उसके बाद में बहुत सारे कुकून जैसे होते थे जो यूज़ नहीं हो सकते थे क्योंकि कहीं कहीं पे कट जाते थे, कहीं कहीं पे दाग लगे होते थे. एंड सिल्क इज़ मेड ऑफ 2 डिफरेंट प्रोटीन्स. द फर्स्ट इज सेरिसिन एंड द अदर इज फाइब्रोइन. Sericin has anti-aging properties and fibroin has healing properties. So that is where we thought ki while we are already in this industry of sustainability, why not explore it and take it a notch forward? And we started extracting sericin to create cosmetic products, and that is how we have Seriskin today. So
very interesting, very interesting.
So Kshitij, तूने बहुत सारी चीज़ें मेरे को पूछी है, लेकिन you yourself have a very interesting journey that you come here from. You originally were a VC. Today you land VCs in the company.
Yeah, hopefully.
If you don't know this, Series A was originally a 15 million round. After speaking to Kshitij, the investors were ready to put in an additional $3 million just because they had spoken and had the comfort level that they received from Kshitij. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, Krishna, so when you're in a VC, right, you spend a lot of time on different portfolio companies, right? You go to their board meetings, you talk directly with founders, you give them your strategies no matter where you're coming from, and you hope that they get implemented, and you try and help the founder in whatever way. The biggest change, one of the reasons why मुझे लगा कि ReshaMandi is a big bet for me also is, one, I wanted to test out कि यार मैं इतना ज्ञान देता था लोगों को, क्या वो implementable ज्ञान है? Can we execute it? So I think those were reality checks I got as soon as I entered ReshaMandi. That it is very easy to give gyan, but executing it on the ground is very difficult. And second, we used to sit on board meetings, तो हमें MIS आता था. अब कभी नंबर ऊपर नीचे हो जाए, थोड़ा कम हो जाए from budget, तो सवाल आए जाते थे, right? The one biggest learning after I moved to ReshaMandi is that I have built a lot more empathy when it comes to teams, execution, implementation, and I know the amount of sweat, blood and tears that go into making sure that the company is growing at the rate it wants to grow, right? So I look at it very differently. Now it's just not numbers in an Excel for me.
Right.
Now when I see 100 crore number, I understand the amount of effort that would have gone.
That is going to go behind. You came from the VC industry, but then you built your own 2 ventures inside ReshaMandi. You started with a venture which was providing inputs to the agribusiness.
Correct.
It was something that you had never worked in before.
Never.
You were supposed to be on ground. You are supposed to talk to all of the manufacturers. You are supposed to deal with farmers.
Correct.
People I'm sure you had never
Absolutely,
interacted with before. And then the second, which is probably one of the biggest and the most important verticals of ReshaMandi, which is ReshaMudra. You founded ReshaMudra here pe. This vertical finances today the entirety of the textile industry. Correct. As we know it, and this is eventually going to be financing a lot more.
Yeah.
So what changed? What were the biggest challenges that you faced coming from the VC background and now doing all of this yourself?
The one learning, if I have to sort of summarize it, is never underestimate the power of delegation. Right? You come from a background where you're doing and in a VC you're doing everything individually. यहाँ पे आके जब मुझे लगा कि मैं सब कंट्रोल करना चाहता हूँ, मैं फट गया था. जब मैंने inputs to agri बनाया था, I wanted to control everything. I hired bottoms up. एकदम से टीम फट गई थी, बड़ी हो गई थी. I could not control it, right? And I still did not want to let go of control. Now that was coming from the place I was coming from. So my biggest learning was to first hire people who are 10 times more smarter than you are.
Absolutely, right? I think this is the best learning anyone can have.
So the second time when I built out ReshaMudra, I spent only 3 months figuring out my optimal team.
Right.
And within them, I built up so much trust and ownership between them that I was so sure that if I leave them tomorrow, they will still deliver.
Yeah, I can actually vouch for this. So I have heard a lot of people say that the team that you have built in Mudra is one of the most stellar teams that exists. because you are no longer looking at Mudra on a regular note, but the entirety of the team still functioning fine, I believe is just a proof of what you were talking about. You have to build better teams.
I mean, I've realized that you get the team right, you get people's motivations right, they will all follow suit. You have to just make sure that everybody has the same vision and the same goal in mind when you're building a vertical. The nitty-gritty is you will have to make sure that you trust your team to do them themselves, right? You can't control everything. And today, the other learning that I had and I still follow till date is what you can't control, don't. What you can, you should absolutely do it.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's how I build those two verticals.
इसके पहले ये करता था कि पहले कंपनीज आइडेंटिफाई करता था जिसको फंड करनी, फिर तूने खुद की कंपनी बनाई जिसको फंड just been doing phenomenally fine, फिर तूने मुद्रा बनाया. Now what as the head of strategy? What's next?
In terms of strategy, see, the whole point of strategy, Krishna, is that we are in this world in the textile space as this disruptor. Now strategy has to take those bets that nobody will ever do.
Absolutely.
For instance, हमने अपने sericulture farmers के लिए we started India's first sericulture insurance program.
Yeah,
where 10% of our farmer base were onboarded free of cost, and they were given because of crop failures which are out of their control. So this is something unique that we are doing. Now we realize traceability is a big challenge in the whole supply chain. So we want to work on solutions that can work for the Indian market that are exporting or working with international brands. So our focus as strategy will always be take those bold bets that nobody ever will.
I'm sure, because these bets have also capitalized. When you have people जिनका एक पूरा महीने की मेहनत एक क्रॉप साइकिल के पॉजिटिव आउटकम पे निकलती है, उनका सारा पैसा उस पे अटका हुआ है, उनका पूरा महीना उसके ऊपर चलने वाला है. And if that crop fails, I mean, it is dependent on so many different variables. And when you come in as a savior कि भाई fail हुआ कोई बात नहीं, you'll still be getting some money out of it. You are still insured. That just creates a different kind of impact. You become like a person that I'm sure no one would want to ever leave your side from.
And like you said, no, for us, Krishna, like you are thinking of the customer as strategy. We need to know our customers better than themselves.
Absolutely.
Because every decision in ReshaMandi is taken with the fact of keeping the customer in mind. The day we deviate from not looking at customers,
we no longer will be ReshaMandi.
We no longer will be ReshaMandi. Right?
मंडी की बातें